Hello everyone, it is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. If you're looking for PTCGO codes, including the stuff from Silver Tempest, make sure you check out the Potown store. You can get a 5% discount on your orders using that code OmniPoke. For today's video, we are going to be looking at a Judge Path version of Mew VMAX today. It's become the very thing it sought to destroy. Mew is now one of the most destructive decks that we have available in the game. And of course, there's lots of different ways you can be playing Mew. Typically, there are going to be some Meloetta people out there trying and maximize their tempo, especially going second, have that early attacking option available to it, and, you know, in some instances, higher damage output threshold if you can get all of those fusion energy into play all in one go. We're going to play today the Path version with Judge, trying to disrupt our opponent's hand. Obviously, Path of the Peak, very good in the mirror match, very good against Lugia if you can develop it early enough before their Summoning Star, of course, and can sometimes help out at slowing down, you know, Radiant Greninja and Lost Box and whatnot, really disrupt their flow as well. So it's actually a stadium we'll use in some of the biggest matchups out there, which does grant us quite a lot of value. And because we're having this disruption stuff, we do need to play a high count of Lost Vacuum, so we can counteract that, enable our abilities all over again, so we can continue to draw with Genesect. So that's going to take up a lot of the space that you would normally see in sometimes the consistency slots of this deck, compared to other sort of middle-of-the-road DTE Mew that would typically have Lost Cities and some other stadiums in there as well. Sometimes we'll still play like one path for a Roxanne play in Mirror. But this is much more focused on trying to disrupt in the early stages, and we know by now that Mew is the focal point of the deck. The VMAX has that cross fusion strike for just one double turbo energy, or two colorless, which is the only way we can fulfill this attack cost. We can choose one of our benched fusion strike Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. Often it's going to be Technoblast from Genesect, but it can be sometimes as well our regular Mew V, or even copying the Max Miracle here. If we have two VMAX Pokemon in play, we can do 130 and get through effects. So we have inbuilt wall breaking for the likes of Miltank if need be. The Psychic Leap is also a great option. We can effectively heal off our VMAX whilst putting some damage onto the board and jumping back into that deck, which is always something to bear in mind. Can be a great way, especially into one prize matchups like Lost Box. You can undo some of their progress, which is really important. Like I said, Technoblast, a really important attack for us to copy, but also the Fusion Strike system is the draw engine of the deck. So we want to fill up our board with Fusion Strike Pokemon. The entire deck is Fusion Strike Pokemon, so we can draw until we have that many in play, or equal to that many in play into our hands. So we're constantly drawing with multiple Genesects throughout the game to get things working. And we have the Oricorio to reduce damage taken as well. For item cards, we have all the speedy stuff, 4 Ultra, 4 Quick, and 4 Battle VIP Pass to try and get our basic Pokemon out as early as possible. Ultra Ball having the upside of also helping us grab our VMAX, of course. And at the same time, Quick and Ultra Ball, even if you're not taking targets in certain instances, can reduce that hand size so that we can continue to draw with Fusion Strike system. Really nice combo here. Crymomatic, with the amount of items we play, is often live in our hand, so we can flip that coin. If heads, you can cherry pick any card from the deck, which is a very powerful effect for us. We are playing Echoing Horn. We are a multi-prize deck ourselves, so cashing in on opponents' multi-prizes is a great way for us to keep up in a prize race. We're playing a Pal Pad and lots of individual one-off supporter cards, so this is going to give us some nice redundancy. Means that we can freely Ultra Ball or Quick Ball away some of these supporter cards, bank them in the discard pile so we can Pal Pad them back later, which is sometimes important, or just reusing specific ones for the matchup, where, you know, you need to gust heavily in multi-prize matchups. You might want to recover your Serena or Boss's Orders. You might want to recover more Judges if that's the best defense you have in certain instances. So really nice option to have here in the deck. A few Switch cards. I am playing 1 Switch Cart and 2 Escape Rope. This is, again, a bit different to most Mew, where you will oftentimes see 4 cross switches. I am choosing to play ropes right now. I think respecting paralysis is one of the main reasons that I'm doing this, so that I just have more switch outs in general. This is also helpful against Mewtwo control variants that are trying to trap you at times and make life difficult for you, so I like having rope, and it's a bit of a pseudo push things out the way option as well, which isn't too bad. I've done this previously in regionals, and I found it very reasonable to go for this, so I am playing ropes and 1 Switch card. It buys me a space in the list, which is also something that I'm a big fan of, and it's less cloggy than cross switches. I think especially with this build, where you already are playing 3 Path and 4 Lost Vacuum. These are cards that you can't play in certain orders, so you just have to hold them in your hand at times. I really like having less clog and not playing cross switches. At least I can insta-play these ropes and switch carts with not too much headache. You could also consider adding in just a regular switch, because of course that can be more proactively used with the VMAX and helps out against paralysis as well, but I still like the value of rope. Again, play around with this as you like. There will be times where you have a headache, you have to rope, then you have to find your gust in the same turn just to bring back the thing you wanted to hit in the first place, but it is what it is. And obviously this has synergy with Cross Fusion Strike because the Technoblast can't be chained, so you want to have some amount of switching cards in the deck, no matter what. Like I said, we do have this Lost Vacuum Path to the Peak package, the idea being that we will shut off even our own abilities sort of at the end of the turn, or once we've used as many Genesects as we would like. We'll play a path down, try and disrupt the opponents, knowing that we can use our Lost Vacuums to re-enable and bounce that stadium, Lost Zone it in fact. But we also have the upside of getting rid of opposing tools. You know, if anyone's going to have high hit point tools like Arc Dura, for example, you can get rid of those sorts of big charms and whatnot, which can definitely be helpful here and there. By that same merit, you can try and get rid of choice belts if things are going to try and be aggressive into you, like Lugia. Deny them from having their big power spike turn with choice belt, quad powerful, those sorts of things. Yeah, the vacuum can come in and be helpful in those instances as well. Of course, this is also fighting opposing paths, not just our own, so always important to have those outs available to you. Power Tablet's one of the ways we can push onto V-star Pokemon, and if we store up enough of them, possibly even VMAXs, so that's always really nice. We do play Silene in the deck, so we can try and reload these as well, which is one of the bigger plays you make with Silene a lot of the time. The Silene in the list just in general is a great reload. Like I said, oftentimes we're going to look for Power Tablets in a lot of cases. Sometimes it can give you the license to get rid of cards like Echoing Horn, get a reuse out of Escape Rope when it's powerful. Those sorts of things are always good to bear in mind. But again, it's just a flexible card. Now that there is like controlling variants out there as well, it can get you access to the Parasol again, or access to double turbo energy. These are also great things to bear in mind. So we are playing a 1-1 split of Boss and Serena. Serena having the upside of letting us draw cards, but the downside of only targeting V Pokemon. Boss being that more universal gust. And I think with Pal Pad I feel pretty safe there. There will be times when you want to bring up lower hit point things, like against Lost Box. You'd rather bring up Comphase so you can just spend one Power Tablet to be able to Psychic Leap a damaged Pokemon back into the deck, that sort of thing. So the split is definitely worthwhile here. We are playing a Roxanne. Oftentimes people's defense to Mew is playing Drapion. So having Roxanne to instantly punish the use of a Drapion early from the opponent means that their deck should still be pretty fat, so they can still draw a ton of bricky cards, and we really force them into that awkward mid-game scenario where we've gone for Path Roxanne, return KO on the Drapion, and sometimes they just don't have a board developed behind that, so it's a great way to defend ourselves. In that instance, also really good in the mirror where you can Roxanne Path and cross your fingers that they can't find combination pieces to get through a VMAX or find their own gusting to finish us off, that kind of thing, so really big deal here. We're playing Judges over Marnies, so this is a -1 for us, but the whole idea here in this instance is that we stop Oranguru. Oranguru is in Lost Box and in Lugia, so they can protect themselves from a Marnie very effectively. They can't protect themselves around a Judge. It's completely random. It's the same amount of cards, but they can't bank cards on top of their deck. That's the reason why we are playing Judge. And ideally, if we've played the Judge before we've pathed ourselves, we can top up our hand size anyway with Genesect, so the -1 that we would be getting with Marnie isn't too painful here. I'm playing a big Parasol. I think it's very handy against paralysis stuff. I think it's very handy against control stuff, trying to Yveltal away all of our energies. So, yeah, seems very reasonable. It also defends us against the amazing rare Yveltal as well in the Lugia matchup, which I think is also pretty valuable. So I do like this include right now. A couple Choice Belts for our damage modifiers, couple Forest Seal Stones, a big upgrade from the latest set, and it does also give us more license to be that little bit greedier with our paths, because we have the Star Alchemy to fall back on, which we can use under Path of the Peak. You can search your deck for any card and put it directly into your hand, which is a really great option to have here. And then we are playing the quad double turbo energy to allow us to attack with our Mew. So yeah, that is the list. Let's get onto the ladder and see if we can disrupt some people with a Judge Mew. Mew is definitely one of the riskier decks to play in the game when there is a ton of people playing it, because there's license for people to add Drapion. in the game, which is a bit scary. I wouldn't expect many Lugias to play Drapion, although in my latest list I was playing it because it gives you upside into the control matchup as well. And I think that's a small headache for the Mew players, basically knowing that Lost Box is likely to play Drapion, and there's license for Lugia too. It's quite worrying. But we'll see how we do today. Looks like we're up against a Reggie deck. Reggies are a lot more difficult for this list now that we don't play Avery and we don't play Lost City, so it's a much harder matchup for us. They're not too phased by the paths. In fact, they're probably going to be the ones pathing us for the most part here. So looks like we're going to have to get rid of a ton of our damage mods as well. Tablets are really actually not the worst for us because they can be pretty helpful in terms of leaping, but I can't do much else with this hand, so we're going to have to throw them away. Do I like Parasol on anything else? No, it doesn't really make sense anywhere, so I might as well throw the Choice Belt here. I actually probably should have put it on a Genesect here, because I might Psychic Leap this Mew back into the deck. I think I'm going to go retreat Switch Cart to draw the extra card here, and just hope that the opponent doesn't get a pop-off with Registeel. They can KO us if they get a good enough draw. Alright, we hit Forest Seal Stone, so we will draw one, and then if it's not exactly VIP Pass, I'll go hunting for VIP Pass. Ooh, interesting. I tell a lie. Let's do this and Genesect for some more. Oh, I can't Genesect for more, so I will be grabbing Mew. I've already retreated, but at least it means I'm in the game. I did just get rid of a double turbo, and I only have one more in the deck. But we lose when 2 VMAX go down, so it's not necessarily the worst thing. And you always have Silene to fall back on, which is okay. I think we are going to be a little defenseless here against Reggie's. It's one of those things. Do I want to Alchemy here for VIP Pass? Because if I don't do it this turn, what am I doing it for later? Because like the value of VIP Pass, I'm just going to be drawing less cards anyway next turn, and then if I draw into VIP Pass, it's so much worse. So I think I still play it here, honestly, just so that even though I'm not drawing more cards this turn, it filters 3 cards out of my deck immediately for a slightly better time. So let's go for that, and let's just pass. Not without its painful discards there. Getting rid of tablets are quite awkward. But yeah, not the worst start in the world. It's just an awkward matchup, the Reggies. Old DTE Mew used to play sometimes Tool Jammer as well as Lost Cities and Avery. Now I feel pretty naked with no real techs here. Kind of at the mercy of how well they draw, and it seems like it's a good start from them. At least they're not getting rid of energy here. That's a sign that they don't have many in hand. Heavy Slam is actually the easiest way to KO our active. Oh, so they do have a capture at least. So 5 of the 6 are in play. It's going to be a Serena for some draw here. I have no idea why they didn't net first, then that's so weird. Peculiar. And it's just going to be a Reggie Gates, a sigh of relief for us. Alright, let's take 4 cards. There's VMAX and Judge, which is pretty nice. So I guess I'm getting rid of another Power Tablet. Which is a bit gross. Again, it ruins a lot of my leap plays that I could have been making, but the damage was done on turn 1. Let's do this. Let's Judge. They'll still have this as a fallback, but let's take 2 more cards. don't mind. I was thinking about quick balling away Path, but I'm thinking if I want to keep the quick ball as a cram target next turn. And the vacuum is always a good target for Path next turn. Let's do this. And we'll just Technoblast. And deal with the Registeel. It's a much harder ask for us to take 6 physical knockouts in this matchup than it would have been had we were the other form of DTE Mew. And that's why there's so many headaches around how to play Mew these days. It's all matchup dependent. There have been builds of this list as well that play still 2 Lost City alongside Paths, and that would be respecting Reggie's quite nicely. We're going to see an Aurora turn attachment, an Ordinary Rod recovering a couple Reggie pieces, and the Horde for a few cards. They do get into research in the end, and they can also get rid of a Aurora, so they can at least hit us for 160 here with Giant Fangs, now that they've found the steel. Which is a scary proposition. See a Path as well. Alright. Well, let's start by vacuuming away a Path from our hand and one from the board. Let's evolve up. And I want to dig for another Judge as best I can here, because it's getting rid of his backup engine, and he doesn't yet have gift energy, which is pretty massive. So I think I want to quick ball for no target. Then Genesect. Look for some cram fodder, if not the tablet. It's awkward, but I can get rid of rope here, probably. No, I just get rid of the tablet. Alright, so I'll take 2 more random cards before flipping this coin. And it's a big flip now to see if we can judge. Alright, nice. We'll take it. It's only a small minus from the opponent, but when you're doing it alongside the Drago KO, it makes sense, right? It's a bit risky that I'm getting rid of a Lost Vacuum in my hand, but we do draw back into another one. The Echoing Horn can be another disruptive piece, just in case there's a turn that they miss something. I can try and be ugly with the Echoing Horn. Try and make life difficult for them. Let's take this knockout. And we'll see if the opponent has done well or not out of the Judge. It's a good start. They can quick ball straight into Drago. They haven't accessed a Twin Energy yet, which is pretty good for us, because this Gigas is their biggest threat, and they're just going to fire off a Marnie. So if they find Belt Twin, I'm very upset. See some trekking shoes. It was a bit risky for them to go into this Gigas, to be honest, because if they miss the Twin, it could be a way for us to get a free turn. Looks like it's going to the Drago back there. Just 2 energy. So that's their pivot option. That's so weird. Wait, do they have Capture in hand? Oh, they have Gift in hand, okay. And they're going to top up 1. Because they netted, they can reuse their Gigas. Alright, seems reasonable, seems reasonable. Let's get rid of this. Ideally, I'm attacking with the clean Mew here. It would force me to Silene early for double turbo. Let's see what the hand brings from this 4 before I decide. Yeah, so that's really bad. I'm probably not going to be able to make another VMAX here, which is really sad. And I need to Roxanne next turn anyway. So I probably still am Silening for the double turbo. And then just going double turbo retreat attack. Proc the gift. The good news is if this is the Japanese 60, they're already down 2 of their 3 rod. And everything is pointing to me that this is the Japanese 60. The double Hisuian, the 1 rope, the 1 boss. Everything is... all of my instincts tell me this is the Japanese list. So we're hoping that this second Drago going down is a problem for them. That's the hope. Well, there's not an instant promote, so that's good news. All right, it is going to be the Terraspark Aleki here. There's a path. Twin to Gigas is certainly scary. See a quick ball. Imagine this is just a fitting card. I hope they don't play 3 Drago. That would be very bad for us. They could just retreat into Gigas and smash. More quick balls, okay, so they're not even thinning because they didn't take any cards. Okay, they take a card this time around. They're thinning so many Reggies. It's a bit bizarre. They're down quad quick ball now as well, so they probably only have like 2 Ultra Balls, even if they do find Rod to get the Drago back. They turn attach the twin, so I might be getting off with just a static shock here, which could be insane. Yeah, oh yeah, it does nothing. Alright, let's vacuum away this. I think I just want to play Judge. It's a -1. Don't see why not. I can also try and grief him by getting a Reggie Rock in play or something. And let's Judge. Let's take a couple more cards. Seems fine. Alright, well, we've slowed them down quite substantially. They have to find a way to pick up Regirock, find an Aleki and a Drago. And it probably involves one of those things being their last ordinary rod. Another of those things has to be their last net. They are quite low to the bottom of their deck, though, so it wouldn't surprise me if they can get it done. We'll see. If they can, it's pretty gross. The trekking shoes, how did it treat them? Was it a treat? Okay, the net's a really good start for them. They can net into Gigas. Oh, this works too. The Heavy Slam also works. Throwing away the Regirock, just the research. Do they find their last Ordinary Rod? Definitely one of the greediest things. Yeah, there you go. Definitely one of the greediest things about the Japanese list was only playing 3 Ordinary Rod. I think it's been pretty solidly 4 in the Western world. And you can see why. You have to really value them and clutch them tight if you only play 3. So we got away with one there in one of our harder matchups. I'd like to think that some of the judges helped there as well. Some disruption. But you never really know. You just kind of hope. Also played a little bit weird at times there. I don't think I maximized my draw necessarily, but I wanted to, like, because I could do so little to my opponent, I wanted to keep my options open rather than, like, maximize my dig. There'll definitely be... Oh my god, what a hand. There'll definitely be games where you just maximize your dig every time because you're digging for, like, triple tablet turns and stuff like this. So there are different things to do with Mew. So I see a Zard. It could be Lost Box. It could be Lugia. I'd imagine the Lugia is probably the more popular of the two right now. So we'll play thinking that it could be Lugia. Regardless, none of this stuff changes. Just Mew being the nuts. Let's draw 3. Too many VIP pass. What a world we live in. So unlucky. Alright, let's draw 2 more. Let's take 1 more. And I think I just pass here. I don't need to do anything else. Pretty content with a turn. I want to path on turn 2 if it is a Lugia player. I don't want to path at all if it's a Lost Box player. Yeah, it's a Lugia player. We're already holding Tablet Boss, and I can Forest Seal Stone for path, but those plans are disrupted early with a Marnie. Wow, the Marnie gave them double Lugia. What a high roll. Insane. Okay, well, we can still Ultra Ball. Probably Ultra Ball away the Judge at this point. And just find our VMAX. Rope would be exceptional here as well. We have both our ropes in the deck. Let's start drawing cards. I need to play 1 tablet. I could cram away Ultra Ball, I guess. Right. Now, I haven't played a supporter yet. I could simply look to get back Power Tablets for future turns, knowing that I can always forest for the rope that finishes my turn. What if I get double heads? He says greedily. Let's Silene. Alright. It's a shame. Let's take our 2. We don't hit the rope, so we have to seal stone for the rope. And let's take our knockouts. Ultra Ball's pretty good draw here. It means I can get VMAX and I don't even need to Lost Vacuum to find my next path. I could just simply retreat into my VMAX and smack. I guess I already have the Switch Cart, so it was always on the table, but yeah. Path Brick. Very good. Very good. That's what it's all about. Their start was honestly quite weak anyway. They were very lucky to Marnie into double Lugia. Like, they even attached the Aurora to get rid of the Archeops, which I understand, but it limited their capture energy outs to actually get double Lugia, which they managed, and then they just had nothing else. But hey, sometimes you just get them. Let's have one more game. So far, getting a little bit fortunate against Reggie, and a little bit fortunate against Lugia, but we try it. That's what we're here for. Oh my god, we are VIP gamers today. If I could do this every game with Mew, I'd just slam it at every tournament for sure. I'm going second, so let's lead this guy. What an opening. I mean, honestly. Alright, this time we're going second to the Lugia, so I can't be as aggressive, and we're holding on tight to our path shenanigans, basically. Alright, they get the early DTE. I have too many Pokemon. We'll cram a banana, why not? Let's grab our seal stone. Make sure that we're having a good turn. As if this turn's not good enough. Switch Cart Judge is interesting to me. Okay, it's not the best. So next turn I have the Ultra Ball ready to go. I think I'm getting rid of Roxanne VIP here just to minus cards. I think I do take the VMAX. We'll just take 2 cards here. Not DTE, okay, and not a vacuum either. So I don't have a hand where I'm happy pathing, which is a shame. But the opponent's got a 4-card hand with no Archeops in their discard pile anyway. So is it just a retreat pass? Probably. I don't think we need to play our Sealstone. I think the path gets us in more trouble than it helps right now. So let's just pass. Alright, the judge was kind to them, at least. No target. They already have fish in hand. Looks like they've researched digging for V-Star. Can they discard another Archeops? No. Read the Wind is so good for us. We have another chance, another bite at the cherry to path lock. They also just got rid of their pumpkin. Alright, and there's the path as well. It's almost too early in the hand, to be honest. I want to judge alongside this, obviously. But we know they didn't have Archeops in hand, and they didn't have V-Star in hand. They have 4 fresh cards, so it's almost as if they're still getting judged. It's really terrible logic, but go with me here. This is me justifying a Silene here for Switch Cart. I'm definitely getting rid of Boss and Quick Ball. That's always happening. I'm always playing the tablets. Let's just draw cards before I need to Silene. I'm just thinking that like Rope is quite bad for me here. Let's see what Silene does. Right, I think I just take the cart. And take the 1. We'll do this. We'll take 1 more card, I think. At random, see if it can't save me the double turbo. Not quite. Alright, let's Alchemy. Let's grab DTE. It's a shame that I couldn't judge here alongside it. But it could still be awkward because they have already pumpkined. Let's see what it does. What it do. Path's really weird because the diminishing returns are massive in this matchup. Like, sure, shutting off Charizard's a bit annoying sometimes, but it's literally just, can I shut off the Lugia? Essentially. Can I please shut off this Lugia for a turn? Alright, gonna see a Quick Ball. That doesn't scare me at all. Still no Archeops in their hand, even after the Read the Wind. There's a Yveltal, sure. Turn attach. And just the pass, alright. Serena's pretty huge. It means if I can cram heads here, we can get rid of Lugia. Classic. Alright, let's get rid of Path and Path. And I think you have to go for it here, right? I'm always playing this Power Tablet, but I'm also definitely playing the Serena here, right? And let's dig for DTE. That was easy. I don't mind putting Belt down as well. That Yveltal's miles away from doing anything it wants to, right? I don't need to play Path either. Yeah, they know they're just toast after double Lugia goes down. So, clean sweep with Mew. They were all fast games, but that's kind of the idea. We're trying to be cheesy. We're trying to just buy a turn, and oftentimes a turn is enough, right? That's the whole idea. I didn't even get to path them on turn 2. Like, I could have, but it didn't seem right with our hand. You have to always remember that there is massive anti-synergy going on with the list. But navigating that's cool. I hope you enjoyed the list and the discussion around the deck. Yeah, I think, well, we didn't face any Drapion, which is always good news, and we didn't face Lost Box, which is one of your harder mainstream matchups, definitely. Even without Drapion, them having Kyogre is a bit of a concern. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Path Judge Mew. Reminds me of Pikarom, reminds me of a few other cheesy decks out there. Somewhat similar to an Arceus archetype as well that was very heavy on just trying to lay one of these down early and hope for the best. I think the strategy is solid in the format. I think Mew's still solid in the format. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I'll see you in another video tomorrow. Cheers.